Once again, I'm here to talk about Bradstow School. I'll be summarising what staff, past and present, have told me about the management of the school and what the parents and carers of students and ex-students have also told me. A lot of what they've had to say has been corroborated by Ofsted inspection reports over the past 3 years or so and by the trade unions who represent the staff who work at the school. What I've been told doesn't paint a pretty picture of Bradstow, quite the opposite. To be polite, what I've heard and what I've learned paints a picture of a school in total chaos and disarray, run by a totally inadequate and frankly incompetent senior management team. This includes the school governors who have failed to hold the senior management team to account. And that's why what used to be a highly respected special needs school has been brought to its knees. But before I tell you about what I've found out, I want to make it clear that as a parent of 2 learning disabled and autistic daughters, I genuinely, honestly want the school to be saved. I want the school to grow and to thrive and to make a difference to the lives of some of the most vulnerable people in society. But not at any price. If Bradstow is to be saved, then it must be without its current head teacher and deputy head teacher, Sarah Adams and Elliot Blackmore, who I believe to bear personal responsibility for its tragic decline. I agree totally with the GMB trade union who represent the non-teaching staff at Bradstow that Adams and Blackmore should do the right thing and resign. In fact, I go one step further and called on Wandsworth Council, who own the school, to conduct an independent investigation into the school's management over the past 3 years to discover why many of the students and their parents and carers and members of staff have been so badly let down, and to sack those who allowed this to happen. So here's the terrible and distressing things I've learnt from some of the very brave people who have taken big risks by contacting me. First, the school can be violent. Violence between students is not uncommon, as is student-on-staff violence. I've also been informed that there have been incidents of staff being violent towards students as well. Some of these incidents have led to the hospitalisation of students and staff. I'm aware that the school faces at least one legal claim for damages from someone who sustained life-changing injuries after being attacked whilst working there. One parent told me that so terrified is their child of being bullied and assaulted by other pupils that they never leave on-site residential accommodation. That parent tells me that their complaints were ignored. Members of staff I have spoken to say that the level of violence at the school could be managed and greatly reduced by ensuring that the approved student to support worker ratio is always maintained. Depending on the nature of their disabilities and behaviour, a student can be allocated one personal support worker, but in the case of more needy and challenging students, this could be 2-to-1 and sometimes 3-to-1 support. But I've been told that these approved ratios are often ignored and students are regularly provided with insufficient or no support. This was seen by many members of staff as one of the main causes of violence at the school, which is also a matter that's been commented on in an Ofsted inspection report and a letter from Kent County Council to the school, but nothing appears to have been done to deal with it. Lack of training is also cited by staff as an increase in the likelihood of violence. I've been told that new support and teaching staff have often been allowed to work with students without any prior induction training, without access to care plans and risk assessments or a briefing about the needs and behaviour of the particular students they're working with. nor have they been trained in behaviour management and de-escalation techniques to calm situations down. Once again, this was picked up in an Ofsted inspection report, but I am told the lack of essential training for staff still persists at the school. To be clear, the neglect of such training in a special needs school is in breach of the Health and Safety Executive's guidance on managing risk and aggression in the workplace. By not providing this training, the school managers could be prosecuted if an untrained member of staff were to be injured. I've also been told that the emergency walkie-talkie system is inadequate. Often handsets are not available or not functioning, and when they are used to summon help, sometimes they're not answered. Next, there are concerns about covering up of dangerous incidents. Several people have told me that parents have not been informed about violent attacks upon their child or have been given false and untrue information about injuries caused to them. Ofsted inspections and documents from Kent County Council have confirmed this to be true. Staff who wish to report injuries caused from being assaulted say that they are dissuaded from doing so by management, who tell them that it's simply a hazard of the job which they must accept. Many of the members of staff who contacted me also said that bullying by senior managers is common at Bradstow and that people tend to keep their heads down rather than report matters of concern. This is supported by the GMP union, which says in a public statement that it's been raising issues about bullying, health and safety failures and management intimidation of staff for a long time, and that the senior leadership has led a campaign of intimidation against staff who have been trying to ensure the safe running of the school. So bad is the management of the school that, as I've already said, the GMB is demanding the resignation of head teacher Sarah Adams and deputy head teacher Elliot Blackmore, a sentiment I agree with 100%. One final issue raised by several staff is that members of the senior management team, including head Sarah Adams and deputy head Elliot Blackmore, spend a lot of their time working from home rather than working at school, and that when they are at the school they remain in their offices rather than circulating around the site and meeting the staff and the students who they are supposed to be in charge of. Lack of leadership visibility, especially in a challenging workplace such as Bradstow, is poor leadership and an abdication of responsibility. Is it any wonder that in a poll of GMB members at the school, 85% had no confidence in senior management? So my takeaway from all this is that under its current leadership, Bradstow School is a dangerous place to be for both students and staff. It's a place where serious incidents are not properly or truthfully recorded and reported, where agreed support ratios are ignored, where staff training appears to be less than acceptable, and where staff are bullied by senior managers who are often working from home or ensconced in their offices. If Bradstow is to survive and continue to serve some of the most vulnerable people in society, then it must be put under new management as quickly as possible, and the current managers suspended, investigated and, if necessary, sacked. The school governors who were supposed to monitor and hold to account the school's management team have also failed in their duties and responsibilities, and they too should be removed from office. Finally, I understand that talks are in progress with an academy trust which has expressed an interest in taking over the running of the school. I wonder just how much due diligence the trust has carried out about the management of the school it hopes to run, whilst it was under the direction of Sarah Adams and Elliot Blackmore. Perhaps if it had done so, the Trust would have followed the GMB trade union lead by insisting that Adams and Blackmore would not be part of any transfer to the Trust. I'll be talking about the Trust in more detail soon. In the meantime, please contact me if you have any information about the management of the school which you think needs making public. Strictest confidence is assured. Thank you.